Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of our weekly Arkansas football recruiting report. We're joined now by Otis Kirk. And Otis, we were at the scrimmage yesterday
Yeah,
together. It was a great day. But before we get to that, we have a lot of recruits to talk
yeah,
about that the Hogs are eyeing. And the first one, we're going at Charles Nimrod, who's a Bentonville kid
yeah.
that the Razorbacks are going after.
Yeah, I just offered him Friday night. I'm sorry I started to butt in on you there, but uh, the Hogs just offered him Friday. He's 6'3", 180, got really good speed. He caught 36 passes for 770 yards and 12 touchdowns. Yesterday, Illinois offered him, Brett Bielema. He's got 16 offers, I believe. Washington State, Kansas, Memphis, Utah State, Arkansas State, Tulsa. That's some of the schools in addition to, of course, Arkansas and Illinois. But yeah, he's Memphis was the first school to offer him, and then it was a while, and then other schools started jumping on board. But Nimrod's got really good speed. All those kids at Bentonville are extremely well coached. I mean, you'll find that out. Those kids are very well coached, and Arkansas offered a couple other receivers in the state, and they went out of state, or they've committed out of state and haven't signed yet. But so Arkansas is looking at this kid hard, and I think once he turned in that 4.4740, I think that was the final thing that got over the hump for Arkansas to offer him. I think there's always a question about speed at receiver, and he proved he can fly. He ran a 4.4740, and so and shortly after that, Arkansas offered him a scholarship.
A blazing speed, and they're also going after another wide receiver. That's kind of what they're harping on right now, and Faizon Wilson.
Yeah.
That's a 4-star out of Texas. What can you tell us about Wilson?
Well, Thursday we'll know where he's going to school. He's going to make a decision Thursday. He was once committed to Texas, but Texas hired his high school coach, so he can't go there. He's down to Arkansas, Alabama, and Ole Miss. And I think Arkansas is really in good shape here. He's friends with Keytron Jackson, Jaden Wilson, and those guys. But as you said, he's a 4-star that just and the biggest thing about him, even though he's a 4-star, I think his best football is ahead of him. I do. I think his best football is ahead of him. I don't think because Lancaster's a stacked team, and they've got a lot of players. And so he's had to share the load there at Lancaster. I think when he gets into a college program and gets being more the focused target, and with the quarterback and getting the ball and stuff, I think you're going to really see this kid take off. And so I like him. Well, I mean, he's had a lot of good offers. Like I say, he was committed to Texas. He's offered by Alabama. He's offered by Ole Miss and Arkansas. So he's going to be playing his football in the SEC next year. And I think Thursday will be at Arkansas.
Oh, well, yeah, a lot of SEC attention.
It'll be at Arkansas. It won't be Thursday. I should make that clear. It'll be next fall, he's in the class 2022, so it'll be the following fall. But regardless, I think he'll be a Razorback come Thursday.
Would be a big get for them on the outside, but you got to have blocking to get those guys the ball. And one they're targeting right now, the Razorbacks, is Marion Harris. He is a offensive tackle with family ties to the Arkansas program.
Yeah, I know his dad real well. Elliott was played at Mariana High School when he signed with Arkansas as a defensive lineman. He lettered here, I believe it was 2001 to 2004, 4-year letter winner. Elliott played on the defensive line, but Marion plays offense. Well, actually, Marion plays both ways for Joe T, but he's going to be an offensive lineman in college. He's a lot bigger than his dad was, and well, I'll tell you how good this kid is. I can solve this pretty quick. Alabama offered him in the 9th grade. And I know we talk about him a lot. I think we talked about him last week. But the reason I brought him up this week, he was at the scrimmage yesterday. You talked about the scrimmage earlier. Marion was one of the recruits that I know was there yesterday, along with guys like Dax Courtney and John Stanley Hill and Caden Henley. And I think Cameron Ball may have been there, but I haven't been able to confirm that. But I was told Cameron Ball was there. So, and he had told me he was going to be there. But whatever reason, I couldn't confirm it. But Marion, it was good to see him come up there yesterday because I think Marion could be the next player in Arkansas to possibly make a decision. And now Nimrod may have changed a little bit of that, but prior to that, I mean, they had Nico from Maumelle and Marion on the offer list that hadn't made decisions, but now you can add Nimrod. But I really think that you'll see Marion make a decision probably sooner than later. That doesn't mean it's going to be this week. It doesn't mean it'll be within a month, but I'm just thinking it'll be sooner rather than later. I think certainly before the season starts, he'll make a decision, but I think it'll be much more before that. And that's not coming from him. It's just from talking to sources and stuff and people that know him or are close to him. He plays it pretty close to vest. But you're talking about a kid, like I said, Nick Saban offered ninth grade. And he's got offers to Arkansas, Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M, Tennessee, OU, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. And he's got like 15, 20 offers. So he's got a bunch of offers, but he's got I believe it's 8 SEC offers. And that speaks pretty high, speaks volumes of what kind of talent that kid's got. So I think you're going to see Arkansas probably get him, but there's some battles. OU, Alabama, there's a lot of schools in the hunt for him.
Anytime you have Alabama offering you in ninth grade, it doesn't just speak to you're playing on Saturdays. It speaks that you might be also playing on Sundays in the future.
Yeah. And I've seen this kid play for years now. He played in the ninth grade. He started in the ninth grade for Joe T. And they won the state when he was in the 10th grade. As I said, he plays both ways. I don't think, there again, it's kind of like I said about Wilson. I don't think you've seen the best of Marion, because here's a kid over 300 pounds playing both ways. You see what I'm saying? So, when you're talking about August, September, and October, it's pretty warm out there. And you've got a big kid that big playing both ways. And I don't think you've seen the best of him yet. Now, he's played well. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think once he gets in a college weight program, concentrates on offensive tackle, offensive line, I think you're going to see this kid just shoot up. And he's a 4-star too with ESPN and others.
Marion Harris. Now, we focused a lot on the offense, the last 3 guys. We switch it up to the defense. Now, you mentioned how Harris has been getting a ton of offers. This next recruit, not short of that too, getting a lot of envelopes in his mailboxes from schools, is Curly Thomas, a defensive end.
Yeah, and his grandparents live in Pine Bluff, and he was up to see them last weekend. They're on spring break at Fort Worth Nolan Catholic. He came up to Arkansas Monday and looked around. He had 38 offers. He had 38 offers. He is down to 8 schools. Arkansas made the cut. Don't be surprised if this comes down to Arkansas and Texas Tech. He's got a couple of visits to Tech scheduled in the upcoming weeks and months. So you got to kind of worry about Tech there if you're Arkansas. But he does have the Arkansas ties. His grandparents live here, and he was up here Monday. He really likes Arkansas. But this is a kid that probably likes everybody. He's just one of the nicest kids you could ever talk to. I can't imagine there's too many things in the world he doesn't like. But Curly is just, I don't think he likes opposing offenses, because he had 16 sacks, 30 quarterback hurries, 58 tackles. So he's a little rough on those opposing quarterbacks. But, he is a defensive end, 6'4", 245. We've talked about him quite a bit on here, but he was up here this week, and that's why I wanted to bring him up this week, because I think the fact that he got to see Fayetteville, and got to see Arkansas, I think that's a promising thing for the Razorbacks. And I bet you he comes back too. Hopefully he does before he makes a decision, because like I said, he's going to go to visit Texas Tech for a scrimmage, and then going to go visit later in the summer there. So hopefully Arkansas can get him back too, because I think that's important there. And California's in the mix. There's some other schools in the mix. I'm not saying he's got 8 schools for a reason. So I'm not saying it's just Arkansas and Texas Tech, but I think that's what it's going to come down to. That's just my gut feeling on that.
That's a 3-star recruit that may have been underrated a little bit when you have nearly 40 offers coming your way. And you mentioned a lot of these recruits.
You're that good. You're a 4-star.
Yeah, that's right. You mentioned seen a lot of them at the scrimmage. Beautiful day to get your first look at not only, the recruits that just came in, the recruits that have been in the stands. What'd you think about Saturday's action?
Well, I was impressed with KJ Jefferson. I was impressed with Traylon Smith, Traylon Burks, the guy, Bumper Pool, Grant Morgan, the guys that you should be impressed with. But some of them are some guys that otherwise, and I asked about 2 of them. The only reason I didn't ask about the third is because someone beat me to it. But 3 newcomers that came in at midterm were Rocket Sanders, and he'd been asked about, but he was impressive at running back. Jaden Johnson, a safety, and Chris Paul, a linebacker from Georgia. Those kids really caught my eye out there. They all Sanders came in. I mean, he was recruited as a receiver. I mean, at least that was what he thought he was being recruited. But it turned out they wanted him to play running back. He's a big kid, and I didn't know how well he would play running back. And he looked good out there. I mean, he was very impressive. I thought, other than Traylon Smith, he probably looked as good as anybody or better than the rest. But, I mean, when you have a scrimmage like that, you're going to have the good, you're going to have the bad. You can say this was good, that was bad. But I thought for the first scrimmage, 6 practices, it was just the 6th practice of the spring. You had so many new players. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I don't think anybody got seriously hurt in it. And you saw the guys, kind of the guys that I named first, like KJ and Traylon, guys that should look good, did look good. I thought Hudson Henry and Blake Kern looked good at tight end. So, I mean, it was pretty much what you would expect from the first scrimmage. And hopefully by the time we see the red-white game coming up in April, they'll be more further along than where they are. Maybe the quarterbacks behind KJ will look a little bit better than what they looked yesterday. I thought Coley looked okay, though.
KJ threw 2 touchdowns, one of those to Kern. And you mentioned Sanders. He was really good at following his blocks, hitting those gaps. I was really impressed with him as well, just how he followed the blocks.
Well, one thing about KJ, you could tell, and Sam talked about this afterward. It's fair to point that out, that those guys don't have much experience, including KJ. But you could tell KJ had more experience than the others, Really, Malik, I think he ran the ball twice. Last year's only game he got into. Lucas is a true freshman. John Stevens had some experience, but it's been a while. And so it was pretty much what you would expect. But KJ did look good. He picked up right where he left off after the Missouri game and then the Alabama.
Each week, Otis. Thank you so much. That's our Hogs football report with Otis. Thank you for joining us, Otis Kirk.
Thank you.